Do African American coping mechanisms help preserve the family?
It's happening more on like the Caucasian end. People are going crazy about it and jumping out of windows, like kind of like in the depression stuff where people are jumping out of windows. And my mom was like, she's saying that it's not really affecting African Americans as much as they're like, we're used to this. Like y'all are the ones that are going crazy. Like this is fine. Like this is better off than.
And that's the whole thing with the experience of African Americans in this country. You know, people talk about the breakdown of the family. Perhaps it's made families stronger. And perhaps because of all of those stressful situations that they have been under and they've had to adapt, it's just very interesting to me that it's a different perception of, I would say that, it's a different perception of the way things are. So maybe that perception, which it seems to be linked to history, although there is variation at the same time. But I think in general, if you go to I think if you know, even with people who have roots in the Caribbean, I think to a certain extent, you know, their families experienced slavery, their families experienced the transatlantic trade, their families experienced, they probably, you know, they have drugs in other countries as well. So, and HIV is bad in other countries as well. So it's the same, I mean, to a certain extent, if you're in this hemisphere, you're experiencing the same types of things. So I think that it's true to say that perhaps the hardship has actually been more beneficial than people are actually making it out to be, as opposed to something that's always negative. When you're looking at African American films, it's always negative. In reality, it could be that it's more positive. The experience has led to more strength.
What influence does African tradition have on family structure?
I mean, like, one thing is, like, the importance of the extended family. Like, in Africa, the extended family is, like, really important, and you live with, you know, your uncles and your aunts and your grandparents, and that happens, like, with the African-American family, and a lot of times, like, when the actual parents can't take care of the children, like, the grandparents will step in, or the uncle will step in, so it's one.
So do you think that they carry that many people who were brought over to the Americas via the transatlantic slave trade brought that sense of the extended family with them? And to a certain extent, isn't it just Western society that has the nuclear family? Don't most non-Western societies have extended families or rely more on the extended family? Or would you say it's non-industrial societies? Most non-industrial societies have extended families.
I would think it's the non-industrial.
Right. So I would think that, like, in parts of Africa today, like you go into cities in parts of Africa today, probably you'd see more nuclear families. As opposed to if you go out to more agricultural areas or more farming villages, you'll see more extended families. So for those people who have recently immigrated here, whose families have recently immigrated here, would you say that, let's say your parents or your grandparents are more into the extended family, or are they living, or do they rely more on their extended families, or do they? I'm wondering. You know, so if you look at new immigrants, it seems like since they're closer to their original culture, they may still be into that extended family type of setup. But as they move here and as generations move on.
What do you mean by extended family? Just like
extended family is
cousins,
aunts, uncles, grandparents.
I'd agree with that. Like my grandmother was all into that. Like she would talk to everybody. She'd like call everyone in her family all week, and just like she'd gossip. She'd like talk about things. She'd like, oh man, did you hear?
She didn't talk like that.
She's getting naked. Oh hey, did you hear? She's not getting married to someone who's not at the Patel. Like I was like, okay.
So, but you're not, I mean, how does your family live? Your family lives in a nuclear family, or it's like your parents and you and your siblings?
Yeah, that's how it is.
Right. Where were your parents born?
Trapped.
Oh, they were born.
Yeah, I'm actually one of the first generations.
Really? Oh. So I want, yeah, go ahead.
Well, in my personal case, like in my household, if there is a nuclear family and no like extended family but I still feel like I have an extended family kind of setup because,
The support.
well, my father's Colombian, so I feel like the Latino family does that setup as well. And I have 2 uncles that we all don't live in the same house, but we live on the same street. And we have our holidays together, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that. So we're very much like in each other's lives, even though we're not in the same house.
Right. Yeah, and the same thing may go for African Americans.
Right.
So although, and we said that, although, let's say you may not have a nuclear family, perhaps it's a single mother family, but there seems to be a setup that's extended. So I mean, we're back to that same question again. So what's unique about the African American family?
I'm just thinking about what is African about the African American family? Is it more American or more African?
I think the idea is that it's both. Like there are certain aspects that come like from Africa, but then there are certain aspects that like were sort of created by like the pressures of slavery. Like I mean, I believe that the single mother family did come from like slavery. Like when you couldn't like keep your husband, like they would be sold. Like and that's why like that's one of the reasons like marriage is not. Like,
Yeah, but
I think that as we progress further on in our years, like it's more so becoming the American family versus African.
I think that's a very good question. I mean, is the family more African or is it American?
I think today it's becoming more American.
Of course it is. And I think this is like when you're talking about, like when you say what is African American, most African Americans have no sense of identity with Africa. I mean, they may say it, but they have no idea. They've never been to Africa. I mean, more African Americans are going to Africa now.
But is that a problem?
What?
That
You're not supposed to talk. You're
Why? Like, is that a problem? Because
What?
if there was any other minority culture / American, they would still have very strong
Yeah, I
ties
think it's a
to.
problem. It is a problem, but I think at the same time, I think the what's the word I'm looking for? What people are ignoring is the fact that African isms are part of America. I think that, okay, we say, I think Africa, I mean, when you think about America and its founding, Africans were a fundamental part of it. Think that they just like, everything was stripped from them and left. It just like everything else, it assimilated into culture. I think you can see it in diet, I think you can see it in music, tap dancing. And when you see that, what is that dancing that the Irish do, you know? Right, and then you look at, that means tap dancing among African Americans is just step dancing with a little more soul. Yeah. I mean, but that's where it came from, and I think that's what you're seeing. And then, so African Americans took that and made it American. So tap dancing is an American phenomenon.
We took, like African Americans took that and made it American? Or did mainstream society take that and make it American?
Take it from African Americans.
Right, and make it American. Like
But
you
it
can-
doesn't matter what it is. It's still, I mean, when you think about your famous tap dancers,
yeah.
when you think about tap dancers, who do you think about?
Sammy Davis Jr.
Right.
Sure.
Well, he's the youngest one right now. Bojangles.
Surely Terry.
No.
Well, I mean, no,
But see, like, but that's,
Yeah, but that's it.
But that's my point.
Right.
Because
Shirley Temple brought it to the forefront.
mainstream America or mainstream takes things
They
that
do.
are true to
African
African American,
jazz.
whether it be jazz, whether it be
Hip-hop.
rock and roll, you know what I'm saying? Because you got
Jimi
Elvis.
Hendrix, yeah.
Right. And then it becomes
Mainstream.
theirs.
Right.
It was something that they started.
That's just not giving credit where credit is due.
Isn't that?
But isn't that like with everything in our culture, in America? I mean, that's just how it is. Like, it belongs to one culture, and then before you know it, it's...
Right, but
I mean, that's just the nature of
if you look at spaghetti,
I forgot.
you know, spaghetti is American, but nobody would deny that it has Italian roots.